Hello.
Green Candy Podcast, episode 755. Hello, Sarah.
Oh, is that how we're talking for episode 7?
Hello, Ethel Merman here.
It feels like
How
sweater
are
weather
you?
talk. I am doing wonderful. I had an eventful weekend. I went and played frisbee golf, disc golf, up in the place where the leaves were turning, and it was beautiful.
Wow, leaf peeping and frisbee golf. This is a very white weekend.
This is, yes.
That sounds lovely, though.
Yeah. However, a lot of diversity at the disc golf course.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so I was happy with that. So yeah, it was real fun. Just, LIVIN apostrophe. How about you?
I too had an eventful weekend. I left the bunker. We went to Boston. Had a lovely time. When I was explaining to someone why we were going, I'm like, well, my son likes history and I like Cheers. So that's why we wanted to go. And I went to Cheers.
Oh, yes. What'd you think?
They knew my name. No.
Oh.
What did you think? I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Fun.
On the menu, in fact, there was, and Lincoln ordered it, an item called the Burgermeister.
Oh, stop.
So that felt right. That felt right to me.
That is great.
I mean, I have some notes for them. Like, if I were hired,
Yeah.
if I were a consultant, I would say to the people of Cheers Boston that, like, pick a lane because it's like they can't decide whether they want to be like a novelty Cheers bar where people are going to come and try to talk about Carla or whatever.
Right.
Or if they want to be like a sports bar because they have like TVs with sports on. They could be playing Cheers and doing Cheers trivia and
I love
stuff
all
like
of that.
Yes. Because everyone that's going to this place really loves talking about Cheers or at least is feeling great about the 80s and 90s and really wasn't getting that itch scratched.
Yeah.
They
have an upstairs and downstairs?
They do.
Yes.
The upstairs is more of like a
sports bar.
No, it's like a replica. They tried to make it like
okay.
A miniature version. And then the downstairs is just like a dive bar.
Okay.
That it was the Bull and Finch, which is, the exterior shot of the bar. Yeah. It was so great. Very touristy, very hilarious. I loved it.
Did you get any merch?
I did not because I have seen it all on eBay for much cheaper.
Got it. Fair.
But I did get a napkin that I will frame and put in my comedy bathroom.
Oh, very fun. That is a good idea. I like that. That's like a different kind of piece of memorabilia / merch.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. And everybody had fun, except as you know, none of our phones worked.
Man, you were incommunicado, as they say.
And I don't mean like, when you have like a dead zone or like when your text doesn't go through one time. They were SOS. That was the signal on our phones. We were only allowed to call 911 should we need to. And I swear I almost did, just to be like one of those people that's like, my phone's not working.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you felt what happened if like the grid goes down.
I actually did think about that and how we're so vulnerable.
Absolutely.
All they would have to do is like pull the plug, I swear, on like one device in somebody's basement and everyone would lose their phone service. And we don't know how to be people anymore without phones.
Right.
Especially as in our case, if you didn't know that you weren't going to have a phone. Because I love a map. I love it with all my heart.
Right. But you need to know you need one.
Yeah, like I love an old-timey camera. I love it all.
Right.
But I need to know ahead of time that I will be needing them.
I saw on Instagram or TikTok or somewhere this person who said this is a list of, it was like 5 or 10 books you need should all of a sudden we not have access to the internet.
Yeah.
And they were so important. I was like, oh, fuck.
What, like an atlas or something? What is it?
It was things like a gardening guide, like about planting food and like what, like I think of probably the Physician's Desk reference, Like,
oh my God,
those kind of things
just
where I was
basics.
like, dude, I'm going to get on that and get everything on that list. If I can find it, I'll post it. But
it's on your phone.
Yeah. It's on my phone. Exactly. So like, and you know, all of those books that are on there are probably like, I don't know, used for $3 on like Amazon books. So like, just get them and have them like, just in case, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does bite the big one when you cannot call an Uber when you're in another city.
Oh,
stuff like that.
And like taxis don't even exist anymore. Like, are those a thing?
I wanted to go back in time to Cheers and like be in the 80s. Because whenever I watch all those old shows, I think about how like every single plot wouldn't work because of phones. Because everything was about like a misunderstanding. Like someone didn't show up or whatever.
Every single one.
Yeah. Now life is so boring.
Yeah.
In fact, I guess this is a good segue. I was reading this article about like, it was sort of debating the virtues of noise canceling headphones.
Okay.
Because I'm a big fan of them, but I don't wear them like outside of the house. I use them for work and just work in my house. So I was not aware of the sort of young people thing where like you just always have either like the ear pods or the whatever's in there. And they are like, do not want to interact with human beings. And I did not know that was happening. Are you familiar with this trend?
I own a pair of those noise reducing, like little loop ones that go inside your ears. After I went to a concert and it was so overly stimulating.
Well, that's good.
And
that's
like,
good for your ear safety.
No, I'm going to keep this. And now I would want to use it at sporting events. I keep it in the car.
This is all great.
And also airports. And it feels like every time I'm getting out, like I'm at the like departure or arrival, you know, waiting for an Uber, probably not a cab, at the departure arrival thing, there's so much honking. It's so echoey. And I'm at the airport, like it's overly stimulating. I'm usually like stressed out and anxious about where I'm going or traveling in general. And I end up having to put my fingers in my ears and it's too much. So I just got those and they're different.
This I support. And that's kind of what I thought I was going to read about when I read the article. I thought it was about noise pollution and how damaging it can be for your hearing, which is a real thing. And it's a noisy world out there. But they were more talking about how people, young people in particular, the sensitives, I'll call them.
Yeah.
Gen Z. The sensitives think they need them like at their cubicle all day long. They need them just sitting out in a chair outside of Starbucks. They are.
Is this what happens when you live in, like you, is this a byproduct of the pandemic?
I think that didn't help.
I think isolation. That is, that it would seem overstimulating if you lived inside for 2 years.
Yeah. But to me, this is an example of, this is a job for immersion therapy or exposure therapy.
Oh, yes.
Where I bet you it would suck for a day or two. Because like everyone they quoted in the article was completely insufferable. It'd be like this girl that would be like, I guess I could do it, but I wouldn't like it at all. Like sit at her desk in her office.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, but maybe on day 3 you wouldn't even notice anymore, dummy.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking of? That I've now kind of turned into this person in a way in the sleep sack you got for me.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't
affect anyone else besides Eli.
I know. Where I'm like, if he's like, could you sleep without it? I'm like, well, I could sleep without it. I could. No, it's fine.
Sarah's chastity blanket.
But like, I don't wanna not sleep with it.
Okay, maybe this is the same thing.
Yeah. And because is this part of that comfort crisis? But in a way, it does help. Like, and I know that as somebody with, oh my God, my ADHD, when I was working in an office with, like in grad school where it was a shared office, like, 6 computers in a row that anybody could be at, it would take me an hour to get through a note because I'd be listening to conversations, chiming in. Somebody would be like, what's the word for? And I'd be like, it's this. And like, I was listening to every conversation but my own. I could really go for some noise canceling headphones to just I'd be more productive.
Yeah, I can see that,
but I would be antisocial. My ability to interact, I mean, you know, you're going to be better in some ways, but it's definitely going to cut into the, you know, human interaction practice that we all need a little more of.
Right. And we do need it. And I'll tell you what else we need, and that is Nutrafol to help our hair grow.
Absolutely. I know a few people who have just started taking this, and I told them, take a before and after picture.
Yeah.
Because every time I have seen one from our listeners and people who have started using this, I am blown away.
Yeah.
And they are real results from like people we know, not just like, you know, the pictures online.
Anybody that's had this problem as I have, it feels like, I don't know, like Samson, when he got his hair cut, you lost your strength. You know, it can be really embarrassing. You feel like you're all alone. Everyone else looks like their hair is like luscious and thick and long. I'm like, look at her hair. Aww. But these supplements are so helpful in encouraging hair growth and, you know, getting rid of like the thinning, the coverage that you feel like is empty, and then just getting growth happening faster. So I'm telling you, you will love it. I am a testament to it. It's so thick up those first 5 inches.
It's so different. I notice a big difference.
Yeah. But it takes time regardless, but this will help things. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code BRAINCANDY. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BRAINCANDY. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code BRAINCANDY. Yeah, you're so right, though, Sarah, that this isolation and loneliness that people are dealing with is like, I get why it's happening, and a lot of it's not anybody's fault. It's like, you know, the phones and all that stuff, technology. But some of it is like, you got to take your damn earpods out, ding dongs.
The other thing, you know, I was having a conversation with a high school student the other day, and I wanted to ask, like, what are the things that you worry about? Like, what are the things that make it difficult at school? Because, you know, we as people who had, I don't know, a different high school experience, or like, you're fine, everything's fine, just like go, everybody gets bullied, blah, blah, blah. You know, we kind of have that attitude. Yeah. And they talked to me. I'm
so mean. I'm calling them the sensitive. And Sarah's like, tell me more about your feelings.
Well, you know, because I wanted to know. I didn't want to just like, I wanted to know why. And like, if this wasn't just like parents coming in saying, it's hard for my kid. And they said they think about school shootings all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I realized in that moment that if you were there's a different way that you go about school. I remember I did not ever think about school shootings at all it didn't happen. Columbine was like the 99. First time, and that was, what was that?
I think it was 99.
Yeah. And that was like right before I was about to graduate. I was done. I never thought about that. And that was a one-off. It was like never gonna, that was like, that happened. The entire nation responded different. Now, this is a regular occurrence, so much so that it's just part of their, like,
I know. I think about it every day.
Right. Any parent thinks about this. To have that, to have your safety be something that even just a little part of you has to be aware of, would make you more sensitive to fucking everything. When I'm on edge, if I'm like, imagine how you are when you're walking down a street at night versus during the day, and how much more jumpy you are. If you heard a noise at night, because you're on high alert and hypervigilant of your safety. You're like really reactive. I feel like that may be how kids are moving throughout the world right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Maybe give me some headphones.
Okay. I get that. I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. I can.
But this is just like, I'm playing the other side and just trying to understand what makes kids, it's yes, are they more sensitive, but are they more sensitized or are they like this because of a highly reactive baseline? Right.
Anytime there's generational strife and dissonance, which is always, there is undeniably a cultural, something that inspired whatever the behavior is that you find unsavory.
Right.
It's not like they're all of a sudden shittier people.
Right, exactly.
I get that.
This is a response to something going on. Yes, very good point.
It's just that sometimes I don't want to indulge it. Because I will say, in this particular article, the people were not kids. These were like 30-year-olds.
Oh, then for goodness sakes.
And the one guy, God bless him, he said, I keep headphones off on airplanes for the first 30 minutes in case anybody wants to chat. Nobody wants to chat, Jorge. Nobody. Okay? And if you do, everyone else hates you on the entire plane because there's no way to chat quietly on an airplane.
This is true. I do not want to chit-chat with anybody.
Go ahead and put
those
airplane. Headphones on. That is allowed. That's kind of what they
funny.
were made
So wait,
for.
You're not wearing them on the airplane, but you are wearing them regular? This is a problem.
No, it isn't. That's part of why they were created is because there's all that engine
No, I know.
noise.
That's where they should be wearing the noise canceling headphones.
Yes. Okay, we're on the same page. Got it.
Yeah.
I thought you were calling me a hypocrite.
No. I'm them. I'm him. Listen, I'm like, that's where they
God
should.
bless him. He's probably the nicest guy in the world. And I think his point is valid, which is that we are missing out on hilarious, fun interactions with people that we might enjoy by shutting the world out. Yeah. But I am not talking to you on the plane, Jorge.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. That's enough of that. Okay, I last week talked about that documentary, The Saint of Second Chances, about the disc. We focused on the disco sucks thing.
Yes.
But I was remiss because I wanted to add a few things that I thought were amazing because the reason why the film is called that is because in addition to him needing a second chance after the disco sucks debacle, this like baseball promoter guy, he went and like was working in, it wasn't even the minor leagues, it was like the fucking farm leagues or whatever they're called, like like they're like I could play. He was like promoting those teams and he was hiring for them and stuff, and he hired women players.
Oh, okay.
He hired basically, if you could play, I mean, it wasn't like he was hiring people that didn't know how to play baseball, but it was like sort of the people that wouldn't be hired by a normal team.
Okay. All right.
In fact, he hired a guy with no legs.
Okay.
And didn't even have prosthetics. He was just down on the ground. You know how they can do that?
Yeah.
And he was like going to catch the balls, and it was like so rad. And I was like, this is awesome. Okay, so that's super cool. It was really fun to watch, very inspiring. And then he had a daughter who developed this problem where she started going blind.
Oh, no.
And it was at a time when he was trying to get back his career, and he was like back hired with a big team. And he had said to his wife, you know what, if I just work 1 more hour a day, I know I'm already working like 16 hours a day, but if I just work 17, she poured this tall glass of wine and she goes, let's drink to you missing the raising of your second child.
Oh, goodness.
And so he quit.
Yeah.
And then since she had this degenerative eye problem, they toured the country to make sure she saw everything.
Oh,
they went to the Grand Canyon.
Well,
they went to Alcatraz.
Really sweet.
It was so cool. And he was like, just fuck everything else. This matters. He has
an open mind.
Yeah, he's a real quirky guy, obviously.
Yeah.
But he was just like, his wife had the knack of making him like Nope. You got to come
Yeah.
back to reality here. That doesn't
Yeah.
matter. That's baseball. This is whatever. And then they showed the daughter's, illness and stuff, and how even at the very end she was saying, beer here. Like their whole life revolved around baseball and like the fun of it. Yeah. It was so fantastic. You got to watch it because it makes you
second chances.
Yeah, it makes you think like we need a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
it was so good. Anyway,
okay, I like it.
We focused on disco, which was great, but I just wanted to share that addendum.
Was it like a 3-parter or?
I think it must have been.
Yeah.
It must have been, but it didn't feel like that. It just flew by, Sarah. It was so good. It made me cry. It made me laugh.
Oh,
it
love
did.
that. Okay,
Gretchen said that too.
Okay. I need a little mix up. I've been going hard on, it being like spooky season. We've been going through like all the scary movies and.
Oh, like scripted?
Yeah.
What is like the best one for you? Like your
Oh
favorite?
God. Well, we there's one based on a Stephen King book called Gerald's Game, where it's this like husband and wife, this really fucking narcissistic, controlling husband who takes his wife out into like, to like some beach house, and he's like wants to try, like their relationship has gotten stale or whatever, and he wants to spice things up with like tying her up, like, so he brings handcuffs. It's a perfect example of how to what not to do.
Yeah, right.
And why explicit consent is important, and why a discussion on consent is necessary. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is all in the trailer, like you see all this. He ties her up with real handcuffs, and he says, like, no, we want to use the real thing. Then he has a heart attack.
Uh-oh.
And now she's chained to a bed. And what does she do?
This is terrible.
Story. It was...
Sarah's back in that moment.
It was not... there were a lot of the scenes where I was like, don't look, Eli. I'm like under the covers watching all this. And I'm
You're
like,
in your
don't...
sleep sack.
Look, yeah, for sure. I'm like, don't look. I'm like trying to cover his eyes. And then we were talking about it this morning, and he's like, yeah, I said I want to watch something else, or we're going to watch something else. And he's like, not any more horror films. I'm like, I need to mix it up. I like can't stop thinking about that one. He was like, yeah, me neither. It keeps like flashing in my mind. I'm like, that's bad. That's,
oh my God.
Yeah. So we need like some happy, thank goodness Great British Baking Show is like the same time.
You can punctuate it.
So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. I'll tell you what's not terrifying, and that's how cute my Caraway cookware and bakeware is.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
So cute. Hey, do they have a baking sheet?
Yes, they do.
Okay. I think I need to get this.
Yeah.
Like I told you, like we got to throw that one out. It is so like...
It's seen its day.
Oh.
It's baked its
I
last
don't even
cookie.
want to... Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to get on that.
The thing about them is they're non-toxic, but they're non-stick. Yeah. So it's just like the perfect combo. And as you know, I love making videos every time I make my bread and stuff because the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
The proof is in the bread. Because if
proof's in the bread pudding.
And it does. It slides right out. It's so awesome. And I love their tea kettle. It's adorable. It looks so cute. I'm going to show you guys a picture on my Instagram. You won't believe it because it matches my oven. You know, the yellow.
So cute. Yellow.
So cute. Yeah. You will. This is almost Christmas holiday season baking time too.
Yeah.
And you will want this stuff and it would make a great gift. Visit carawayhome.com/braincandy to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners. So visit carawayhome.com/braincandy or use code braincandy at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. They have all kinds of colors, by the way.
Yeah. So cute.
Find whatever color you want. Okay. Moving on. So that's your favorite spooky movie is what you're saying.
No, not my favorite. Just the one we just saw recently. Oh, no.
Well, I asked what your favorite all time.
Oh,
that's what I meant.
Oh, not that. Oh, God. I thought you were just talking about like, what have you seen? Like, no. My favorite all time, like Halloween movie, Practical Magic.
Oh, but that's not spooky, is it?
I mean,
It's more fun.
She's a witch. She dresses up for Halloween.
It's not a horror film.
No, it's just Halloween-y.
Okay, got it. Spooky,
Yeah.
but not scary.
Yeah, not scary.
Okay.
I don't know
That's
if
more-
I would
that's
say.
more my speed.
Oh, my favorite horror movie is Cabin in the Woods.
Write that down.
Yeah, and because it's clever and it's also like a comedy horror movie, and I like those. And it's very smart how they did it. It's I think the smartest and most clever of the horror movies.
That is a good tip for any of you people that wanted to know that.
Yeah. Ooh, but tell me yours if you're listening.
Oh, yeah. We'll put it on Instagram and you can say your favorite.
Yeah.
How about a little chat about, do you ever use Dr. Brommer's soap? You know,
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And there was an article, now I'm forgetting where I read it, about Dr. Brommer. And of course he's a weirdo. Like, it would have
That
been
makes
weird
sense.
if he weren't, because
Right.
if you've ever used this soap, you've seen the missives that they are all over it.
There's
It's
so
just
much
like,
writing on that bottle.
so much writing, but and it's nonsensical, and it's like, how would you describe it? Like, would you say it's like admonitions or like, what is it to you? Like
I always thought they were just like
statements.
kind of like like claims about the product in a way. Like
It's so much more. I'm going to get mine.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to get mine and read some of them.
okay, that's so funny.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I feel like I've always had like the big huge bottle, but never taken the time to.
Yeah, it's a real treat. Okay, so mine, if you're watching, is the lavender.
Oh, I could have guessed that.
At the very top, it says "Heal Soul."
Yeah, I always thought this was
Exclamation.
like product. Got like this is what if you use this product, what it'll do. Okay, keep going.
But he's saying help heal PTSD, depression, end of life anxiety, and addiction. This
Okay,
is so.
didn't say that.
Adam just texted me and said, "What was that noise?" He's downstairs. He's like hearing me clomp around. Okay. Psychedelic assisted therapy was recently granted breakthrough designation by the FDA for use in treating PTSD and major depressive disorder.
What
Goes on and
I
on.
did not even know. I have not read that bottle that hard. It just lives under the sink. Okay.
And
How
some of them,
strange.
this is more paragraphs, but some of the bottles, it's just like phrases and sentences that are completely unrelated to each other. It's bonky, which made me love it. But
I got
also,
one with a blue label on it. I don't know what kind.
what
that
scent
is.
do you use?
Tea tree
Oh, that's
or
probably
whatever
nice.
kind. I think the blue one's unscented.
Oh, okay.
Or like African soap or something like that. Like,
There's so many.
yeah, I think it's the blue one.
So the article I read was just telling about his life, and of course he's bonker boo boo, but he says, okay, so he was born in, I believe, Germany, and his actual birth last name was Heil Brommer, but they got rid
Okay.
of the Heil.
That was a smart
after-
move.
Well, they're Jewish, and they got rid of the Heil because of the obviously horrific implications of that word now. But his parents were killed in the Holocaust, and he came over at 21. I believe he came over before they were killed. Like, I think he was already here at the time. And he was at some point sent to a mental health facility. He went through like electroshock.
Wow.
And he said, and I guess it's true, that ruined his eyes. He was then blinded by whatever
What?
had happened in this mental hospital. And, but like that to him was like no big whoop, I guess. He was just sort of like went on with his life. And he escaped the mental health facility and went to Vegas, which I guess is what you do.
This is the strangest story.
It really is. But somehow even stranger than I thought his story would be. And I thought it was going to be strange. And then he won in Vegas. He won at roulette. And so that was what brought him to LA. So he was like on this lucky streak after I guess he lost his vision. And he developed this soap and became like totally obsessed with it. You know how like sometimes people that have different kinds of brains or maybe some mental health stuff will become like fixated on stuff.
Uh-huh.
And like oftentimes it's religion.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not just anecdotally saying that.
Right,
That is a
right.
fact.
Yeah.
And I guess for him, like this soap was sort of that. Like he was like,
the cure-all. I feel like the same thing happened with, what is that water that Lucille Ball put on herself when she...
Yeah, Florida water.
Florida water. That thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the soap became very successful, obviously, and has since just completely become a favorite, cultural favorite. And you can get it at Whole Foods or anywhere. But, like, he ended up, like, neglecting his kids. He had 3 kids.
No.
And, you know, like, just... It's just crazy, though, because the soap and the company became so successful, but he's got no eyes. And
This is bizarre.
and
Just a good work ethic.
I guess so. Well, more like obsession, I guess.
Okay.
I guess if you're obsessed with something and
But
everything
like,
else
who
gets...
took over? Who's running that today? What's happening?
His grandkids, like his family is still, but they're just like, yeah, that guy. Like they've had to grapple with like a grapple. That's our new favorite word.
There you go.
With like the legacy where, and this is a good lesson in life and what I try to do, but I fail at constantly, which is like accepting the multitudes of people and
Yes,
accepting that
yes.
like he was both things. He was a shitty dad and some sort of visionary about this type of business and a promoter or whatever. And I also appreciate that he didn't give a shit about like a normal way to like market a product. Like,
Yeah. Just kept going, and somehow that
Yeah.
weird way paid off.
maybe it was because it was like the time period, like the 60s and 70s. You were allowed to be a little wackadoo.
Yeah. That's
But
interesting.
good soap. And the company really embodies like progressive values, and they try to like they do not take much money. Like they earn a salary, but it's a really normal salary. They're not like gazillionaires
driving their
and
yachts
stuff.
or whatever.
Yeah, they're like trying to live what they preach and what the bottles preach.
Okay, and the bottle's apparently real preachy.
Right,
That's so funny. I wonder if, like, because there has to be an evolution of that bottle and what it was like, and if it's all the same, if everyone's different. I'm going to go look.
It was the LA Times. I remember now. It was LA Times that did the story, and I actually signed up for a subscription just to read it, and it was worth it.
Huh.
Okay. Moving on.
I don't know the story behind it, but do you know what the story is with the Sleepy Time Tea people? That's like a cult?
Yeah, I once read the story.
Yeah, and
Now
I
I
did
can't
too, and I
remember.
can't remember the people, but I was like, and then it was so layered that I was like, oh, I got to do like a deep dive on this in order to talk about it on the podcast. And then I just, of course, forgot.
You like
and
fell asleep.
yeah, something like that. And fell asleep to my Sleepy Time Tea. Yeah,
That's how they
there,
get you.
there is some crazy story behind that.
And there's that bear on it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all very suspicious, if you ask me. I'll tell you what's not suspicious, and that's my Rocket Money. As you know, I told
The
my
best.
best friend Kelly, she goes, what's the hook? No hook. I'm telling you.
No hook.
I've saved so much money
So much.
by canceling unused subscriptions. Well, they do it for me. They're like, hey, you want this? I'm like, absolutely not. And then they negotiate bills to be lower. It's every month is the cycle that I do this. So anytime there's a little thing next to it, it'll say like, we might be able to negotiate this. And I say, you knock yourself out.
Yes, go for it. Right.
Yeah. Don't let me get in your way. Rocket Money. Do your job because you rock
It's the
at
best.
money.
Oh, look. That was
Thanks.
a Sarah joke. That was good.
That really was. I'm sorry,
was.
Rocket Money. Anyway, if you're not familiar, it's a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. It's very empowering. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/braincandy. That's rocketmoney.com/braincandy, rocketmoney.com/braincandy. Download that app, baby.
Yeah, so good.
All right, Sarah.
All right, Susan.
Next up on my agenda, there was an interesting article yesterday, actually, in the New York Times about one of the mothers of the victims of those Idaho killers. Idaho killer had 4 victims, and one of them, I think his name was Ethan, has a mom, and obviously she's grieving, but she agreed to be a part of a panel at CrimeCon.
Whoa.
You familiar with CrimeCon?
No, but I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that we're...
You don't even like that it exists, CrimeCon? Yeah. Well...
Because for what purpose?
I guess the same question could be asked about literally any true crime podcast or Netflix special or whatever that we all watch and consume. And it's sort of like, that's what this article was trying to unpack, is like, we've all heard the question, why do women love true crime and blah, blah, blah. And then people try to speculate, well, maybe to protect themselves or to be aware of like who the boogeyman is or whatever. Who knows? We don't even know our own motives, our own motivations. But for whatever reason, a lot of people find it either titillating or soothing or inspiring or...
Yeah. In a weird way, comforting? Like...
Probably the same way you watch a horror film. I mean, it's not comforting, but it is something. Didn't you talk about that one time on here? How there's something about like you get this adrenaline, but then like you're in a safe space.
Yeah, and it does, and when you have that feeling of being like unsafe, and then you're reading a true crime thing, and it almost tells your brain, "Oh, this is why I feel unsafe because I'm reading about this." Then it gives explanation to, I don't know, the emotional state, and there's some sort of comfort in that, and.
Yeah. It's kind of mysterious, but for whatever reason, the human brain, at least of a lot of people, enjoys it or finds it interesting or comforting or whatever. So she agreed to be on this panel, and it was victims' families.
Man, that's hard.
And she went into another panel of a guy talking about the murder of her son, and he was on stage, and he's like maybe forensics expert or something.
Yeah.
And he was describing how her son died.
Oh, God.
And, she went up to the microphone and she said, I just want you to know that I'm Ethan's mom. And, everyone stood up and like clapped. And
that's so weird. That's not the right reaction.
I think they wanted to show support and whatever. I do think it's probably a really nice community. It's probably a nerdy bunch who just like, they're certainly not thinking I'm happy these people are dead or anything like that.
Right. No.
And so then a lot of people came up and hugged her, and she said that it was empowering to be able to get up there because she was annoyed that the speaker had mispronounced the names of one of the victims and had made another error that bothered her. And I'm sure that happens a lot where people like you and me will shoot from the hip about something, and we're obviously not getting every detail right about the stuff we cover because that's just not what this show is. And if you were an expert, or if you were somebody who was affected by it, you might be really agitated by that.
I feel like that when I read my Wikipedia page, and I'm like, that's not right. Nope, incorrect. Not where I'm from.
Who do you think made your Wikipedia?
I have no clue, but it's not right. I don't know.
I wish someone would make one for me. Any of you brainiacs out there?
No, you're on there for sure.
I'm not.
It's like challenge, and then you click on it. I'm sure.
I'm not. The only person from My Road Rules that has one is Christina P.
That's crazy. I don't even know how that's possible.
Well, I know how it's possible, but I also know that it can be remedied. And all you brainiacs out there, put on that thinking cap.
Wikipedia page, right?
Because, come on! What's a girl got to do around here? Little respect. Anyway, but you feel like that. So how do you think they made your Wikipedia page but then got so much wrong? What's wrong? What do they say, your personal trainer
No, they went
again?
off of what the real world said. And they said I was from San Francisco because I was living in San Francisco at the time. But I only lived there for like 4 years.
Right. Yeah, what do they mean by from?
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, she is born and raised in San Francisco. I'm like, no, I wasn't.
I would hate that too.
Yeah. Like, shout out to LA. That's where I'm born and raised. So, anyways. But, yeah.
Right. Anyway.
I get it. So she felt like it was a good thing that she went. She felt...
In the end, I think she did. And she felt good about... Because what she did when she was at the microphone is she said, I want you to all remember when you're, dealing with this stuff, to remember these are real people who were loved and, that had vibrant lives just like you. And she wasn't saying, don't participate in this. She was saying, when you do, can you remember him and how special he was? And she created like a children's book that she sells and that, is in his memory and stuff like that. And I can see how that would be empowering, like turning the story around to be about remembering your son.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it really does make your, life, reduces it to its final moments if you only focus on that. But that is just how somebody died, not how they lived, which is very different. And the mom's experience of that child was not how the child died. It's how the child lived.
If I'm not mistaken, he was a triplet.
Oh, goodness.
Right. So that is heavy, man. But that when I interviewed the author of that book, While Idaho Slept, I loved that he paid so much attention to the victim stories in the book. And it does make a difference when you can make them into like full people with identities that are like, memorable. Okay, moving on. Yeah, I'm just saying. There is a documentary on Max called Last Stop at Laramie that is a must-watch.
Oh, what's it about?
It's about a tiny town in Australia called Laramie.
Okay.
Population 11.
Okay.
And it's sort of the Australian Tiger King.
What?
They're like this town has a bar and a pet crocodile.
Oh God.
But there was a crime. Or I don't know if I should say crime. I feel
like the suspect list be pretty short. What's wrong with the cops there? Do we need to get anybody from Crime Con? Because they'll solve this in 2 seconds.
Yeah. I should have said population 10. Oh. Because Patty is missing.
Oh.
And Patty is a man. Paddy. He's from Ireland. But anyway, this I wish I had words to describe what I watched, because even though like we've seen Honey Boo Boo or we've seen
I see. This
like
is
Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Every
the Australian outback is different. Yeah. This is like
funny.
The Hills Have Eyes shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of these stories.
It's unreal how people on this planet live their lives, and we are the same species.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to see this. Okay. This might be a horror film.
But it's some of them like seem kind of normal, where it's just like you could put them in another rural town, like a regular rural town in Mayberry, and it would seem like, oh yeah. But then when you put them all together, and then they like some of them hate each other. Ooh. And they have like feuds and
this is good.
Whatever.
I'm writing this down.
It's unbelievable. And they don't even have cell phone service. Like this is like back in time.
Wow.
Essential. Okay. Are you going to watch it tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Should I?
Yeah, I want to talk about it. Like I want you to be like, OMG.
Okay, that's I can't wait.
Because whenever Gretchen sent me the trailer,
OMG.
Like, that's all I wrote about, OMG. And also OMG about how great BetterHelp is. And this show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Yes.
So
I feel almost like my relationship is also sponsored by BetterHelp because Eli's been going for months now, and it is great. He has so many tools for how to deal with his ADHD girlfriend. And I mean, he really has.
He and I should have a support group.
You should.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So
no. I mean, we all have our stuff, but that is a specific kind of stuff that I endure.
Yes, it is.
Well.
And so he has learned some wonderful tools that have really helped our relationship. And yeah.
Yeah, because we all do have our stuff, and if you need help with your stuff, whether it's relationships or grief or stress or whatever, they can help you. You can pick from a gazillion people who are qualified and specialize in what you need. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/braincandy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/braincandy. I mean, I'm always surprised somebody is not going to therapy at this point.
Right.
Haven't we gone through this? Okay. Last Stop at Laramie on Max Essential. There was a wonderful article in the New York Times about how they preserve the priceless documents at the National Archive.
Oh, okay.
And I'll talk about it, and I'll have Dahlia put it in the newsletter because it's I love when they do the articles that have when you scroll through it, there's video of you being able to see what they're talking about.
Yes, interactive in a way, yeah.
Yeah. And
remember the one of the depth of how deep the sea is, and you just kept going, it was so fun. Yes.
Yeah, and it really gives you some perspective. And this was if you're a library kink me, I was like, this is my porn, watching people take good care of documents, paperwork.
Okay.
You know, because they're just so intentional with it, and they are so precise.
That's like your ASMR. You get little tingles from watching people be really gentle and take good care of stuff. Yes.
And most of the people that I at least saw, I don't know if this is the accurate ratio, but were women, and you can imagine why they would have the right disposition maybe for the job, because I'm sure it's a lot of alone time, a lot of quiet time, and
tender touch.
Yeah, and I just loved it. So anyway, I learned a lot about the National Archive from it, and it was describing some things that I thought you might want to hear. So they were talking about the setting it takes and the things you have to do to make sure you slow down the degradation of the documents.
Yeah.
So they were saying that the founding documents are in sealed encasements filled with argon gas.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're made from glass and titanium and aluminum. And the last time they were exposed to the air was in 2001 when they had to renovate the building.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I understand this because I had a pair of pants that I had folded and with a crease down the center, line, a crease down the middle, this beautiful pair, this pink pantsuit I had, crease down the line. With the pandemic and everything, those were, and I did not unfold them or change the position. They're ripped. There's now the fabric just sitting there. Nothing has happened. Has broken down enough to where if you were to unfold those and put them on, you'd rip a hole right through the where the seam is. And that's fabric just in my closet, and it's only 5 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's something in the material was like acrylic or some cheap material that broke down, and
right.
Yeah.
I guess that maybe is that
Zara,
more common with Zara. Yeah. Do you think synthetic materials are more
probably?
Okay.
So then I think about how, and I was like, oh my God, you actually have to preserve clothes, preserve things. So it makes me think about the preservation of any ancient thing. They have fabrics. What it made me think about is the Smithsonian, the dresses that are in there, and how I'm how the fuck did I have this hanging on a hanger? But they got stuff from the 1800s and earlier in their cases.
That's why people were so mad at dumbass Kim Kardashian and that Marilyn Monroe dress.
Yeah,
you selfish bee.
Yeah,
come on, ma'am. You're not Marilyn.
Right.
by a long shot.
Yeah.
Good. Makes me so mad.
Yeah.
I love how this is like the thing that really gets me.
I love it.
Okay, so I also was fascinated to learn that one of the most popular collections are the pension records of Civil War veterans because they are particularly useful to genealogists and historians documenting the lives of ordinary soldiers.
I get that. Okay. Interesting.
I love that. And I remember that when I was in grad school and a lot of my work was on early America, these are the things that we had the least amount of access to was like regular artifacts of like daily life.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you save the baptismal gown and you save the special whatever, but you're not saving your whatever.
Right. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's
and
only
so I
the
can
special
see why.
occasion things saved.
Yeah. But I mean, how much info could be in a pension record? A lot?
Well, wouldn't pension have to do with who gets the money after you like? So maybe it has to do with the
Like next of kin.
Yes, and your family and who's related, and this person who's the son of this person, and it'll go to this brother, and that feels like the same way, like property stuff would be full of that.
Yeah. And looking at you ever go through like the microfiche stuff at the library when you're, I don't know, doing genealogy or something?
There was a time where I did that. I can't remember what project, but we must have been assigned, like I had to look through like old news
Nobody's
clippings.
doing that for
I wasn't doing it for, right. But I remember being like, wow, this is cool. I feel like a character in a movie just looking at this microfilm tape or whatever.
I mean, it does sort of have that feeling of like you get to see back in time.
Yeah, and I was like, am I like a New York Times reporter right now?
Scoop rice on the job.
Yeah. I'm like, diddly. Sir.
The project that I had to do was like figure out when your family first arrived in America.
Oh.
And so you have to go through like what do they call those things when you arrive at like fucking Ellis Island or whatever? Whatever records those are. Immigration.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Or something. There's like a name for it though, but it's freaking longhand. It's just obviously they're not on computers. Right. They're just like, handwriting and penmanship. And there are so many mistakes. Like they always miss because it's just human beings doing whatevs.
And busy, and not erasers.
Not erasers. And probably didn't care that much. Didn't think we would be looking at them in the year of our Lord, whatever.
No. Yeah.
But it is fun to read them.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was interesting too, how like they've always tried to preserve this stuff, but like we've learned a lot more over the years. So like in the early days, they thought if they put like a piece of silk on the back of like a document that would protect it. But then they found out that they had acid. And so that harmed the papers. So now they have to de-silk all this stuff. I mean, that's a big job. It takes 3 weeks to get rid of that silk on one freaking thing.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean,
man, but that seems like a relaxing job.
Oh, that's so Sarah. I'm telling you, they have video of this Asian woman like soaking it and wringing it with something.
And it forces you to slow down. You like have to go. Yeah,
you can't speed it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like a job where it's just task, like repetitive, and you're just doing the same. It's slow.
Do you?
Maybe. Yeah. Every now and then I volunteer at a food bank where they like make meals, like hot meals and frozen meals, and they bag them up and like bring them to places, and it's like a big production. And so I do like the bagging and like assembly line kind of thing, or just like put an apple in a bag and a fruit snack in a bag and tie it.
Why do you think your brain likes that?
I fucking love it.
Tell me why though.
Because
what do you think? Soothing.
It
gives your brain a break.
Yeah, it gives your brain a break, and maybe a lot of what I do in this job and as a therapist, you just are planting a seed and you hope you don't really get to see the I mean, you do.
The
You watch your
harvest.
clients grow, of course, but it's different. I'm not, it's really just like reports of like, I don't know, it's different. This, when I like finish this whole box of peanut butter and pretzel, things that I put in the bag, I'm done. And I know I completed it. And it feels like there's something about an assembly line that is very soothing to me.
Satisfying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and repetitive. And it's like you don't have to think.
There's
But you do.
dish that you reminded me of in the Midwest that is probably one of my favorites of all time that I wonder if you've had. It's strawberry pretzel salad.
No. But I'm going to need a whole explanation. Is this a Jell-O situation, like a Jell-O
there's
salad
Jell-O
thing?
involved.
Okay, this is a Midwest thing. I don't know about these Jell-O salads. Then they call them salads, and they're like sweet. I don't know about this thing in California.
I don't know why they do that.
That is a Midwest thing.
It's like if on my birthday,
like
that's
East
what I asked
Coast.
for from my mom. She'll make me a strawberry pretzel salad.
Get out.
Yeah, it's like strawberry Jell-O, and but it has like chunks of strawberries in it too, and they can be frozen or fresh. And then underneath that is a layer of this sounds like when Rachel made that trifle and it had beef. That's one of the layers. Underneath that is a layer of like, it's like whipped cream, but it's thicker than that. Some sort of cream.
It's like Cool Whip?
product. No, it's something more, something better. And then under that is like crushed up pretzels and butter, like baked as the crust.
Okay.
And so it's like fruit cream crust.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
My
I just
grandma
had some
used to
last
make
night.
a strawberry icebox cake that was,
I
I feel
bet that
like
was
the
so good.
California version of this.
Yes, and probably better, but like not to me.
No, I get
'cause,
it.
like,
That's like your thing. That's okay.
yeah. Last night I had one piece left and Lincoln wanted it. And I had already got it for myself and everything.
Oh, no.
And so I was like, how about we split it? So we split it, and then he couldn't do it. He gave it to me because I wanted it so bad.
Oh, that was nice of him.
It was nice because it didn't mean as much to him.
And I'm glad that you were able to say, yeah, I'll take it. Like that.
I know, I can't. We fought about it. It was like,
I'm
no,
sure
no,
you did,
no,
but
you,
eventually,
no, you.
like, you deserve that. That's like, and he can learn that mom gets a treat if she wants it.
Thanks,
That's a good
Sarah.
lesson a child can learn.
Next time you're here, we'll have a strawberry pretzel salad.
Yeah, I'm in.
You'll love it. It's not gross, I promise.
Maybe
'Cause
when you're here,
they
I'll
should
make you a
just rename
strawberry
it.
icebox cake or something.
You should. Do you ever
know.
make it?
No, but I'm going to now.
Yes. Do you?
I think you'll like it.
Do you have Eleanor's like recipe cards, like in her handwriting and
My
everything?
my aunt does. I know that and I do have
You
some.
have to
yes.
get some.
I do
Okay,
have some
good.
in her handwriting. Yes.
Because you could frame it, maybe.
Oh, that's cute.
Because that handwriting, everyone has their own. You got
Yes, she's got
grandmas
it.
have a special one.
Yeah, it's very.
Anyway, let's wind it down. Whew.
a lot of history today. You taught us some things.
I know, on accident though. Noise canceling headphones. That was just me being a dick, which I love.
But maybe.
We challenged each other. I think
Yeah.
the sensitives.
Yeah. They're okay.
I wonder if they've had it with me yet.
Oh, sensitives.
You know, the Gen Zers that I always share.
Their moms are listening.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So they'll hear about this and never. Okay.
They're with us.
Saint of Second Chances. You got to watch it.
Yeah. And then there's another one I got to watch, The Last Stop in Larimer. Larimer?
My God, Laramie. Yeah.
Larimer. Okay. That,
And
it looks.
Australians are an interesting group of people.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're American in the sense that they're like kind of, you know what?
White trash.
We're kind of dummies, you know?
Dummies,
Like
yeah.
Americans are dummies.
Yeah.
But then they're way nicer. They're way like more laid back and they love nature more. So I feel like
Yeah. It's like American without the capitalism as much of an influence, maybe.
And you know how like Australia was founded as like an island of criminals.
Yeah.
And so they do have that like, you know, like Crocodile Dundee or like the Crocodile Hunter where they'll just like do wild shit and they don't think anything of it. That's fun. Crime Con, what do you guys think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it?
I'm on the fence. I'm not a big fan. It seems a little ick to me. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's
Okay.
another way to. Maybe just the name that bugs. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
It
I
just
get why people
trivializes
would
it.
not like their kid or something
Yeah.
to be discussed in that way, for sure.
Yeah.
Last Stop at Lerma and National Archives. Check that on the newsletter. If you're not signed up, if you go to thebraincandypodcast.com, there's a little box to sign up. You just get one email a week where Dahlia lists like every book, movie, anything like that we talk about, so you can recall it, and then put some links to the articles in there. So I think you'd like it.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
We'll see you next time, everybody. You're the best.
Bye.